Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see everyone. It's been so long since I've got to see most of you. So thank you for being here. Tonight we're going to ask Mrs. Suzanne Norris if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance before we begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mrs. Norris. Okay, tonight we have audience of any citizen, and that is the FGC Board of Trustees will hear any citizen who wishes to address the board on a one-time basis pertaining to a relevant topic. And if the board wishes to hear more about that topic will be scheduled for a future board meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and the time dedicated to this topic will not exceed 20 minutes. And I believe that we do have someone, Mr. Stu Loker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I had a second thought. A lot of you probably have tuned in or read about the trial in New York City, the sexual harassment trial with the ex-president. Well, things like that happen other places, and they happen in Columbia County. It recently happened to Florida Crown. And unfortunately, the attorney over there has, I don't really think he's done a very good job, but Florida Crown has a zero sexual harassment policy. When it was found that the person committed sexual harassment, nothing happened, and drinking and other things. The county in the past has had an issue with that was covered up. It's like this is the modern day and age now, so we can't have, in my opinion, sexual harassment. And I need to look at the college policy. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if Ms. Logan knows what it is. I hope she does, but maybe not. I mean, there was a problem in the county school district where a child was kidnapped from a school while it was going on. Happened to be the same attorney that's now the attorney for Florida Crown was dealing with that case. So I think particular items such as sexual harassment, harassing people to try to get rid of them so you can hire your friend, these are very important issues today. I don't think Dr. Barrett would tolerate sexual harassment from what I know of him. I mean, he's harassed me, but that's okay. But I don't think he would tolerate sexual harassment. But this is a very serious matter. And I think that the board needs to discuss what zero tolerance means. If zero tolerance means zero tolerance, is that if you sexually harass one of these women here, that's zero tolerance. And if you're found to sexually harass, then in my book, you don't have a job. So I'm respectfully asking, considering what's going on in the country and what's going on right now, and stay tuned, I'll be writing that story soon, in Columbia County, what's going on in the past in Columbia County, that the board seriously look in to make sure that when it comes to sexual harassment or harassing of employees, that zero tolerance means zero tolerance. Not you get a 2-week suspension with pay and go merrily on your way. And finally, my final thing, Mr. Chairman, if anybody wants to smile, I did a story on the Tooth Fairy, and there's a little clip in there on oral health in Florida. Mr. Brannon will get a kick out of it because the legislature gave more money to oral health in rural communities. But if you want to have a smile, I've seen the thing about 12 times. Go to the story, you'll see a picture of a little girl there, and click on the photo in the story, and you can see all these kids explain the Tooth Fairy. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Loker. Okay, we're going to ask for the approval of board minutes. Board of Trustees had those minutes, and we will ask First of all, are there any changes, corrections, or amendments that need to be made?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Tepedino makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Brandon seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. We do not have a student government report tonight, so we will go forward to the consent agenda. As you consider the consent agenda tonight, I'd respectfully ask that you look at number 2 on the consent agenda. And I would ask to entertain a motion that that item be removed from the consent agenda. That item found its way to the consent agenda. It was approved by this board 2 months ago. And so I would just ask.
Are you asking for B2, just for clarification? Routine contracts?
Yes, I am. That's correct.
I do 6B.
On page 1 of routine contracts and agreements, number 2. If there are no other changes, corrections, or amendments, could we have a motion to remove that item from the consent agenda?
I make a motion to remove that.
Thank you. Mrs. McGinnis makes the motion to remove that item. Is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Allen makes a motion to second that motion.
Can I have a clarification?
Seconds the motion. Yes.
Okay, so are we just removing the 6B2, and so all the other items under the routine contracts stay in place, or are we removing all of 6B?
No, ma'am. Item 2.
Okay,
Under
so
6.
6B2, which is the Security 101.
That's correct.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Item 2 on page 1 of routine contracts and agreements. Is there any other discussion about the motion and second? If not, all in favor of the motion second, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Same sign. The motion's carried. Okay, now back to minus 6B, number 2, on page 1 of routine contracts. Is there any question about any other items on the consent agenda? If there are none, I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda as you received it in your packet.
I make a motion to approve it.
Thank you, Dr. Tepedino makes a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Surrency seconds the motion to approve the consent agenda. All in favor of that, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion's carried. And we come to Roman numeral 7, which will bring us Dr. Mulligan. There she is.
Good evening. So this year's summer musical is going to be the SpongeBob musical, and that's actually showing and is based upon the Nickelodeon cartoon. It follows SpongeBob, Sandy, and Patrick as they attempt to save Bikini Bottom from total destruction due to an underwater volcano. The show actually features over 50 participants, where 27 of them are FGC students, and we have 24 local high school students participating as well. The show also features a 17-piece orchestra under the direction of our FGC musical instructor, Matt Johns, and the show dates are June 22nd to 25th. And this should be like the perfect musical for families and children. 20 teacher preparation students graduated with their baccalaureate degree this past week, with 10 students completing the elementary education program and the other 10 graduating with their early childhood education bachelor's degree. And actually 18 of all of those students already have jobs or verbal commitments. One is already planning on applying for Columbia County, and we're waiting to hear back from the last one. So we are good to go with teacher prep. That's a big improvement. And we also had 46 firefighter graduates this last week, which is, I think, one of the largest classes, if not ever, of recent history. We also now have two, not only one, but two Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship winners, where I announced last, I think in December or November, that we had Cade Mesnard. He was awarded $4,000 toward his study abroad program, that scholarship for that. And now we have Jordan Gore. He was awarded $3,000 for the spring round of awards. And I would like to actually thank Dr. Michael Baker for his leadership in starting and continuing this program after COVID. And it's been well received by the students. And then lastly, we received our Perkins performance data for 2021-22, and we outperformed all three measures as compared to state levels. The first level was post-secondary retention and placement. It's either getting a job or staying within the field or study program or education. And the state determined level was 78.5%, and we were at 84.8%. The second measure was earned recognized post-secondary credentials, so who received credentials. The state performance level was 54.25%, and we were at 68.12%. And then finally, the last one, it was non-traditional program concentration, so which programs that are traditionally female, traditionally male, switching that, the enrollment, then the state determined performance level is 20%, and we were at 21.37%. So we're very proud that we outperformed all of those measures. Do you have any questions? Yes.
So you gave some graduation statistics. I'm just curious, do you happen to have statistics on male versus female graduates?
For this class, probably not, but we do have those statistics overall.
Yeah, it's been a noticeable decline in the males, and particularly the December graduation, particularly that one. This one, it was still noticeable, but there's a lot of research out there about that. It said nationwide, there's been a 20% drop since COVID for males graduating with college degrees. So I was just interested how we were doing.
Yeah, we're working on our equity report right now, and I believe we're looking at that. With enrollment, we're already at like a 60-40 split.
That's pretty much nationwide.
Yeah, and so we are kind of gathering all that data now so that we can look at it and analyze it for the report.
I realize at graduation ceremonies, males are less likely to attend than females, so that would also, produce a visual difference. But I was looking for like real numbers, like numbers of graduates, males versus females.
Okay.
We can get you that. The other issue is that from a visual standpoint, so programs like fire, public safety, those things tend not to, and that is a big initiative of mine as the academics continue to hear a one FGC model. We tend to have a lot of these smaller ceremonies that have all been traditional ceremonies, so they don't come across at our graduation. And I remind everyone, this board and the president confers upon them their degree or certificate. So that's been a huge push, as Paula and Chris and everybody can hear from me. But the other issue is the way if you remember, we used to only have 2 graduations in the spring, and then we added a fall graduation in 2018, and now we've added a summer graduation. So from a visual standpoint, I just want to point out to everyone, those will be different types of students that finish at different times. Like the summer will be very heavily cosmetology, correct? So there'll be different pots of thing, but we are trying, but we will get you the actual data because it's important data, but I just wanted to point that out.
And I apologize, I have to leave after this because I'm taking my final stepson, who just
Your finals, you're not planning on getting any
just
more.
graduated Marine boot camp. We've got to take him to his meal before he gets shipped off to military combat training, so.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Student Affairs and Public Information, Mr. Clark.
Good evening, everyone. For the third year, FGC will host 2 Columbia High School graduating seniors in the Florida Crown Lake City Police Department Summer Work Initiative Program. These students will work with our summer camp programs and various other departments on campus. Many of these students who have previously worked with us have enrolled at FGC the following fall semester. Our FGC Housing Department is happy to report that we have already received 70 applications to live in the residence hall next year. 54 female applications, 16 male applications. Wow. I didn't know, honestly didn't know we were going to talk about that tonight. It just came up. The male students do tend to apply later, so we do expect to see a surge in male applications later on. We're happy to see that since we opened the 4th wing. We have a capacity for 86 students this upcoming year. FGC summer camps, we currently have 105 children registered to attend camp this summer. This registration is before our big push and our flyers that are going out to all of the different school systems this week. We're expecting a rush of registrations over the next 2 weeks, and our top 2 camps per enrollment currently right now are tied. Number 1, basketball. Number 2, STEM.
Yay.
So we are excited. They are 1 away from capping that camp this year. FGC Athletics. I am proud to announce that we have had 12 academic all-conference athletes this year and 8 academic all-Americans this year. In addition, for the very first time, our women's cross-country team has been nominated for the NJCAA National Team of the Year Award with a team GPA of 3.75 throughout the entire academic year, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. This coupled for the first time, every single one of our athletic programs have advanced to the national tournament in their selected sports. It's been a phenomenal year in our athletic program. Our esports team finished the Overwatch season in the national championship match where they fell to Union College in Union, New Jersey. They completed their best season ever, ranked number 2 in the nation in Overwatch. Our women's flag football team will complete their inaugural season in Atlanta, Georgia, May 17th through the 20th. They'll play Heston College and Fort Scott for a place in the national championship game to be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's great.
Home of the Atlanta Falcons.
I'm a Chick-fil-A.
Our Public Information Office, we've had 3 press releases since our last meeting. 1 on the Economic Impact Study, the 2nd on the softball field dedication and our athletic banquet and Hall of Fame induction, and the 3rd on our spring 2023 graduation and Distinguished Alumnus Award. Channel 20 did a live feed for the first time at the softball field dedication and then came to interview our distinguished alum at graduation on that same day. So additional media clippings are available in your folders tonight. Stephen Colati took more than 2,000 photos on graduation day. 400 of those are available on the college's Facebook page. So if you're looking for yours, you'll see yourself. You'll just keep scrolling. It's out there, I promise. And finally, new student orientation. For the first time since 2018, FGC will be hosting in-person new student orientation on campus this August. We have scheduled 3 dates, August 1st, August 10th, and August 18th, from 9 a.m. to noon. NSO is the lead event of our new first-year experience program, designed to assist students to become more familiar with FGC in their first year and develop the necessary skills to thrive on our campus. In addition, we have built a brand new online orientation. Thank you, Brandon McIntyre, for doing that. For students who can't make it to campus on those dates, this program includes brand new video, audio, and up-to-date content for all of our programs. And that is my report. Are there any questions?
Any observations or questions? Very robust report. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Schrader, enrollment and marketing.
Thank you. Good evening. Summer classes began on May 8th, and we are still promoting Summer B registration that starts on June 21st. Enrollment is down compared to this time last year. We're actually about 9% down in headcount. So we're at 1,600 students compared to 1,759 students at this time last year. And then we're only down 2% in credit hours. So we're at 11,125 credit hours compared to 11,367 credit hours. We are holding a Summer B Express registration day on June 15th to try to promote continued enrollment. Free breakfast for students started at the Grill this summer. It started on Monday, and we've had about 192 students that have taken advantage of the free breakfast. So that's going well. Right around the corner is fall registration. It begins Monday, May 15th. During the first 4 weeks of registration, we're giving out 5 laptops each week for the students that have registered up to that point. So it's a total of 20 laptops. Our priorities marketing-wise for fall are to promote our free after-school childcare. We want to get the word out more about that. And then as well as promote our new programs in cybersecurity and entrepreneurship. We will have 2 fall one-stop enrollment days. One will be on June 22nd and one on July 27th. And then our spring graduation that happened last Friday, those went very well. The highlight of that evening was definitely Cameo Lance, so bright and passionate and smart. So that was just great to watch her. Summer commencement is planned for August 3rd at 6:30. Dr. Barrett mentioned, or I'm not sure who, but the BOT scholarship signs that they took out to Dixie, so thank y'all for doing that. We had 63 total that we delivered to recipients' homes, so many of the people in this room actually helped with that, so thank you very much as well. And they will also be acknowledged at their respective senior award ceremonies at their schools. And then this application year, we had so many, and it was extremely competitive. The essays were great, the achievements were great, which was a great problem to have. But we decided to offer those students that didn't get selected a presidential scholarship of $1,500, a one-year award. And then finally, our 75th anniversary gala will take place on May 20th. And we have 328 guests that are signed up to attend the most amazing event Lake City's ever seen. We will have a professional photographer there that will be taking pictures during cocktail hour and then actually printing the photos to give to guests by the end of the evening. Dr. Barrett's first question to me when I said that was, can we charge them? I pictured myself like running around with a credit card machine like a theme park, but we decided to do it complimentary.
I'm cheap.
Anyway, sorry. Do y'all have any questions?
You just can't help me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great report. It's a lot of work. Our business services report from Mrs. Holloway.
Good evening. I have my regular budget amendments to ask for approval. Budget amendment number 8 for the restricted current fund 2. College request approval of budget amendment number 8 to the restricted current fund, Fund 2, for the fiscal year 2022 through 2023. This amendment recognizes revised award authorizations and new grants received in the 2022-2023 fiscal year.
We're requesting a motion for approval of budget amendment number 8, restricted current fund, Fund 2, fiscal year 2022-2023. Can we have a motion, please?
Move to approve.
I second it.
Mrs. Norris makes the motion, and Mrs. McGinnis seconds the motion. Is there any question or discussion about this item? If not, board members all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. The motion is carried.
Thank you. My next is budget amendment number 8 for the capital outlay plan for the unexpended plant Fund 7 budget. We are requesting approval of Fund 7 budget amendment 8, which has been revised So the report reflects actual revenue, revised budgeted expenditures, actual expenses, and updated projects through April 18th, 2023.
We would like to entertain a motion to approve budget amendment number 8, capital outlay plan fund expended plant fund 7, budget fiscal year 2022-2023. Do we have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you. Mrs. Allen makes the motion.
Second.
And Mrs. Norris seconds the motion. Is there any question, discussion about the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, members of the board, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion is carried.
Thank you. And then I have a request to finalize a contract. This is with our deferred maintenance money, the large pool of money that we have specified projects with. So the college requests board approval to enter a contract with O'Neill Roofing, a piggyback, to replace 3 air conditioner units and upgrade the support systems of the roof on Building 3 in the Old Lusty campus. We have a metal catwalk on the roof of the buildings to get to the AC units, and every year on our SREF report, they always say, oh, you got to fix that, you got to fix that. Well, this deferred maintenance funds are giving us the money to take care of that finally.
Good. Good.
It's $672,013.83. So that's for 3 air conditioner units and to redo that support on the roof. And there is some roof work that'll have to be done underneath that as well.
So the request is a motion to approve the request to finalize contracts awarding O'Neill Roofing with the contract. Do we have a motion for that?
I make a motion.
Thank you. Mrs. McGinnis makes the motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is that Mr. Lander? Mr. Brannon? Seconds the motion. Is there any question, any discussion by the board? If not, all in favor of the motion, board members, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. The motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Holloway.
You have any questions?
I appreciate you using the piggyback, because I think, it's probably took a little while for some of your vendors. They probably would prefer you didn't. But I suspect you're getting some really competitive piggyback pricing based on some larger places that might have more ability to, push down some pricing. So when it's appropriate, I support you 100% in using piggyback.
Thank you. It helps a lot to
It
have
does.
those contracts available.
Right. And then you get somebody they know what they're getting into, and they're not underbidding a job and then they can't finish the job.
Exactly.
That's the biggest concern I have when we get these low bids. It's like, you gotta have a good, solid company that can finish it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next item, President's Report.
Well, just piggybacking the roofing thing, I want to thank Ann Brown, who is our Executive Director of Health Programs and so forth, for bearing with us as we're replacing the McCrary Building roof. But thanks to Michelle and Randy, who is our Director of Facilities, they've come up with a process with O'Neill Roofing, actually, that they put a subroof in, and then they took off the old oval roof, and a 3.5-month project will be done probably in about 4 weeks for that whole entire building. And on top of that, it saved us about $100,000. So, wow. And you're pretty happy, except for the riveting information you've been having with when they took it down, right? So, okay. I want to thank you all for your graduation, for attending graduation. Those of you who could be with us, it was a great day, great young alumnus. Get more specifically, she is going to come back. And Emily and I have talked to her about coming back and presenting to our students and being very active on the campus. She's a very busy woman, but she's going to try to reach out to us, and she'll help us with potentially some grants and so forth in the STEM field. So Cameo is welcome back on this campus anytime, and what a great success story that was. I have been meeting over the last 3 months, every 2 weeks, with the Director of Economic Development of Columbia County to try to worked together, county and the college, on numerous projects. That's been very successful in the past. One of our outreach, I want to thank Chris Brady and Lee. We've developed a relationship with Werner that a lot of people didn't think we could because of past issues that have been none of our issues. And we've actually had them here, and we went out to them about a week and a half ago, and already that has been helpful to us as we've had one of our CDL trucks go down. It will be down a significant period of time, and they've helped us out with the truck very immediately. So that relationship is very important. Also want to talk, Paula did not mention, teacher education is changing in the state of Florida, and we need to adapt with teacher education besides the traditional programs. Pam Carswell will be on the committee for teacher apprenticeships. She is on the serving of that committee to lead the apprenticeship, which will lead for students with 2-year degrees, that they'll be able to apprentice at the schools with a different coursework and so forth, and actually get that. So we're going to be engaged in that pretty quickly. That's been a big, huge issue. The other thing is our EPI program, which competes against regional people and so forth, and some people don't charge and so forth. We're changing that program around this summer. We're going to be paying the faculty to change it to a credit-bearing course, and which would make that advantage is that if somebody needs to be qualified or credentialed in a specific area, that course will act in that capacity. So we intend to move with what's going on, so we're adapting very quickly. The last thing I want to say is I want to thank Cassie Buckles. She is, we are the outliers. Well, we're not the outliers, but we are the outliers when it comes to pushing about our health program and our property and casualty, and we've been meeting with brokers, and we've learned lots of things that the reasons why we're in the situation we are in and how we can potentially adapt. And I'm thankful to the legislature because next year they put it in the Office of Budget and Management. Is that what DMS. They move forward that they will be considering the Florida college system and doing research to make as part of the healthcare plan. So I think that started here in this institution. So we need to continue to push it. And Lee, that's going to be one of your main objectives next year at the legislature. So that's my report, Mr. Chair.
I really want to thank the president and his hard work, especially on the healthcare initiative. It can just be so debilitating for our staff. And I think Mrs. Holloway began her budget conversation with us that we really want to take care of our staff. And you have, for a number of years now, worked very, very hard on that initiative by yourself often. And I'm very, very grateful for all the hard work on that. Is there anything else that any board member has at this time?
Doesn't she have to go over?
Yeah, did we go over this? Are we going to? And then I apologize for not being able to make the workshop. I know normally at the workshop, one of the things we address is making sure everybody gets properly compensated. And we were talking about his hard work. Did we address that as well? Is that part of our discussion, or did that happen?
I think that's next. Next up.
Yes.
All right.
If there's nothing else from any of our board members on any other topics, then we will conclude this evening of outstanding board attorney.
Oh, I guess let me ask
Yes.
a couple questions.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations on a well-done graduation. I know that those of us that were able to attend enjoyed it, and we always talk about start here, go anywhere. Cameo, and we have a joke at our house about Lake City Center of the Universe, but she really is Lake City Center of the Universe. So we had a lot of time to chat about some things, and I know that Renee and I were talking about where are all the guys, and so I think that would be really an interesting
analysis. Where are these young men coming out of our high schools? Where are they going? Are they taking time off? Are they going to other programs? Where are they? Renee brought some really great research to my attention, and it really seems to bear out just the visuals that we're seeing. And the other thing Dr. Barrett and I talked about too, that I would love to get some feedback from staff on is, with the number of dual enrollment students that we have now, and you think about, they're going to be transferring to four-year universities, it would be nice if we don't have something in place to have, an opportunity to help guide them into that four-year transition through maybe some more specific guidance. And I say that only because I have staff whose children are graduating from various high schools, and depending, it's luck of the draw on if you're getting any support at the high school level, they're dealing with so many other things. So some of the academic guidance that we're used to is not necessarily the top priority. But here we have people that are 16, 17, they're going to be going to matriculating over to a four-year college, and Dr. Barrett shared his experience with his son, and I'm sure a couple of you as well can say, hey, my young person moved over to the four-year university, and you're not in Kansas anymore. My son even said, boy, it's not like being at Florida Gateway College where they help you with everything. Well, I think there's an opportunity for us to have something in place where when we identify that this is the college that so-and-so wants to go to, or the university, let's make sure we know that they know, like, when do they have to enroll for housing? What is that campus? Do they have their college tour set up? Just like we spend so much time getting them to come here as high school students, let's make sure that when they go out that they're socially prepared to be at a four-year university. I know they do well academically. We've seen the data for that. But, it's a big change and especially with the dual enrollment numbers being so big, our population of people going to four-year colleges is growing, and I think we can help serve them to be socially successful as well.
As a part of the budget process this evening, a position was listed.
Oh, did I miss it? I'm so sorry.
Position
Okay.
for career coaching, and it was described just along the lines that
I wonder where that came from.
Where that came
I mean, like I said, it's Dr. Barrett and I were talking about it, and it's just like, we send them off in a great situation, but then, it is a different environment when you go to a 30,000 person school, and they don't care what dorm you're in, and they don't care that you missed preview, and I mean, we just specialize in helping those students by holding their hands a little more. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because then you get the Cameos of the world. Cameo clearly had somebody that made sure she graduated as a dual enrollment student and made sure she was on the right path. She didn't rely on just the luck of the draw. So, all right, thank you.
It's wonderful that you brought it up here, though, so we capture it for the record.
Okay.
Yes, and what a lot of those high school kids are doing now, I'm seeing this more recently, is they might be graduating with their AA in high school, but then they stay here and work on those requirements that will still transfer. Some of those core classes that they didn't take for their AA, they'll just stay another semester or two here picking those up before they transfer. And so there may be even more that would do that, because that helps FGC
Sure,
to
yeah.
stay here. There might be more that do that if they realize, how much of a help that will be for them financially in the long run.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I've got to
thank
go.
you.
I hate to
Sir.
cut out for that, Mr. President.
Thank you,
y'all.
Mr. Brandon. We
I
appreciate
do
you
want
being
to thank Lee for his help this year. He pounded the hallways there. And I don't know if I was a help or a hindrance to him, but
You helped.
You helped.
Absolutely helped.
And also think that was mentioned a workshop, but that's good to have that on the record as well. The great work that Lee did in the legislature.
And we forgot to thank you publicly, Chuck.
No, not me. I'm talking about him.
No, I know, but
He was doing what he needed to do to get that money. Sometimes he'd come to me and say, be as simple as, I got to go to Lee, just take my office and use it, or I need to have a meeting with somebody, and sometimes Lee, we just go snatch him out of our office, or him down our office with him. And Lee would have to go set those meetings up, so.
I didn't do any votes for it.
He was, Johnny on the spot and in the right spot, so he certainly had a successful session, so I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well done.
Are there any other comments before we go to the president's evaluation? Madam Attorney, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the board recently had the opportunity to complete Dr. Barrett's annual evaluation, and those 8 individual evaluations are compiled together into one evaluation, which is contained within your folder. And before I get to some of the specifics, I just noted that what was interesting was some of the comments, all of which were consistent, and some of the words used to describe Dr. Barrett, which include innovative, creative, energetic, engaged, personable, leads by example, enthusiastic, and fearless. And so I thought that those words, along with the consistency of the comments, was very telling. But beyond that, Dr. Barrett scored 5s in all 7 categories on which he was rated. The first category was board relations, and again, the comments were very consistent. He keeps the board up to date, keeps open line of communication with all board members, and that communication is one of his key strengths. The second category, community, state, and national relations, he again received all 5s. Strong stockholder relationships, including social and civic organizations, and there was a lot of commentary about his engagement in community activities, as well as his the assembly of his team and his strong fiscal management. The third category was instructional and student services programs. Dr. Barrett consistently reviews performance for improvement. The next category, personnel and human resources operations, again noted his strengths with his current employees and his operations, that he's assembled a strong team and a positive, accountable team that understands their roles. The next category was leadership, and again scored all 5s. He finishes what he begins. Dr. Barrett leads by example and demonstrates the ability to grow individuals around him. And then finally, I think this was the last category. Last category, goals, objectives, and areas of concentration. Again, received all 5 with very strong comments about his relationships, his leadership, and his success under adverse financial circumstances, and things that he has done to keep the college running well. At the top of the evaluation, it references the accountability standards by which he's judged, and there were several comments to that effect. Again, that he continues to distinguish himself as a premier educational leader in the state college system, that he is a significant asset to the campus community and continues to exceed expectations in his role as president. So overall, I think his evaluation largely reflected that he is exceeding expectations with perfect scores, and that he continues to succeed and improve the college every day that he is here.
Thank you so much. I want to go back to Dr. Tepedina for just a moment on some comments you made, but before we do that, is there anything any of our board members would like to say reflecting on the evaluation? Those were very, very strong comments. All 5s. All 5s. I mean, it is clear that the board is enamored with the president, his ability to lead, the work that is done here, and that leadership is reflected in the individuals that are sitting out there. The culture of this campus, the leadership culture of this campus, we're talking about coming back from the workshop with our attorney, is so strong, just amazing, and that reflects, from the top. It begins there. Anything else any other board member would like to say before we go back to Dr. Tepedina?
I just wanted to highlight my comment because I think it's driven by the strategic plan and the aspirational goals that Dr. Barrett put in place. He shared those with us at the last meeting, so his timing for his evaluation couldn't have been better probably in terms of actually having real data as to where are we on the goals that we set, how did we do, and even the aspirational goals. And I was really, I was really so impressed by that it certainly, bore out in his total evaluation. But I expect that he'll reset the strategic plan to have even more lofty goals That's what I love about him, is that, he takes even a friendly criticism or suggestion, and he just grabs it and goes with it and tries to figure out how to get it done. So I appreciate that about you, Dr. Barrett.
Okay. Dr. Tepedina, would you please revisit your comments?
Yes, so I missed the workshop, and I'm sorry. Usually at the workshop, we talk about kind of where we are in relation to other colleges as far as pay and some of those other things. Usually we talk about what kind of funds we can find to make sure that we keep these really great people on our team, not going to somebody else's team. And in that regard, did we talk about like the upper administrative component?
did not.
All right, so can we put that on the agenda to talk about that component for between now and then? Can we look at contract renewals? Can we make sure that the people that are doing a really good job, and I feel like when you get fives like on everything with people that are really difficult to please, like this board, that tells me somebody's doing something right. And so while I think it's nice to say good things about people, my staff tells me, oh, you say a lot of nice stuff, but they like it when I also reimburse them properly for their hard work. That seems to carry just a little bit more weight. So as we weather some storms that are going to be coming in the near future, I know that one of the things I want to know is that our leadership is locked in place, that they're happy with the contracts that they've got. If they need to be renewed, if he needs, then I want to go ahead and revisit whatever that is. And I know it's weird because some years are different. And I know that he didn't take additional pay for a couple of years, and I remember thinking, well, that's weird, but okay. But I thought, well, how fiscally responsible of him, to do that. And so I want to make sure we lock him in for the next 5 years or whatever they'll let us do. So lawyer-wise, I don't know what that language is, but if we like him so much, I want to visit that. I want to see that. And nobody's asked me to do that, but I know from a standpoint of when Marlon used to do it and we talk about it, we'd say, and we're renewing the contract. And I was like, that's kind of missing today. So I didn't know if that had already happened at the workshop and I missed that or not.
No, so you're not just talking about the salary function of the contract, length of the contract as well.
All of that.
Which is really important.
I want a coach's
Very good.
contract, it's a
Yep.
rolling
Can I
contract.
speak to that, Mr. Chair?
Please.
And just to address that, Dr. Tepedino, I have seen a draft, and I think that certainly is in the works, and so we're prepared to bring that to the board whenever the board is ready, which it sounds like you are.
Refresh my memory, is that a coach's contract with the rolling contract, or is it?
No, it's currently in effect until 2025, so it is a little bit early, but like I said, I have seen a draft, prepared to move forward into the future.
I think because we're trying to set, and I appreciate that, thank you so much for telling me that, we're trying to set like a 5-year strategic plan, a 20-year strategic, clearly, we'll be blessed if we get them for another 5 years, but I'd like to lock that.
Who's his
in.
doctor that's taking good care of him?
There's this HIPAA thing I'm not allowed to
Well,
say.
I think
but-
we need to concentrate on those people more than make.
No, but I think,
I'm
yeah,
interested in
but
that.
Larry, I appreciate you saying that. I also
know.
feel like, I'm just going to be straight up with you. I remember feeling pretty crunchy when we were in a position where there were financial restraints and there were people that needed, in my mind, a raise, and that we were one of those people. And I feel like when the upper level administration was, very kind and, yes, we try to make percentages work, and we have, I don't want to give money that isn't deserved or earned. And in this situation, I feel like that money is deserved and earned. And not only that, I think you've never said anything to me about money. We've never had that discussion.
No.
To me, I think what you care about is knowing that this board has your back. And so
Yes.
to me, the best way I can say we've got your back is to say, hey, we're going to invest in you for the next 5 years. Now, granted, I know there are always outs, if he wants to go or we need him to go or whatever, visions change. But, the same thing with the upper level administration. Nobody, like, these people are doing such a great job. And I feel like it is so freaking hard to find good people who are invested in your community that, like, while it's nice to say nice things to people, and I really love to give compliments when due, I also really like to make sure that people are properly compensated and secured. And so for me, the security component for these individuals is what I care about, not just the financial compensation part.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you, by the way. Sorry to take so much time. And I felt like if I would have been at that workshop, maybe some of these things would, like, I'm like, oh gosh, I'll probably, So when somebody shows up to the meeting and they miss the first part, we're like, we already said that 5 times. And then you're like, why didn't they just show up? So I didn't want to be that guy. So.
No, and there's one thing saying it over there, it's another thing saying it over here for the record, like Ms. Norris's previous comments and Ms. Allen's previous comments. So we're going to, if it's agreeable with the board, consensus of the board, we will have that for a very specific discussion item at our next meeting.
Right.
Maybe not bring a contract next meeting, but have it as a specific discussion item, and we'll get down to it.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mrs. Logan is our interface for that function. So, to give you the latitude to say whatever discussion, because you could meet with him. We can't individually meet with the way things work in Sunshine State Law. So, and whatever you guys come to terms with. And I would say we look at what we've done in the past, and we look at where we could have done things, but we maybe didn't, and now go ahead. And then the other thing that I think is important is we look at other colleges, and we just say, where are we at? Because I feel like with, for example, some of our programs, when we have people who are really good and then they go somewhere else, a lot of that is just because 45 minutes away, somebody's paying them more. And that sucks.
Can I ask for clarification?
Please.
So clarification for these people, would you like me, I mean, for these people, I don't mean the staff, I didn't mean it that way, guys. You know that. I hate this stuff, and I do. So the thing is that, and hate's a tough word, I dislike it. But the question is for these people in the room, as executive staff and so forth, would you like us to bring forward a analysis and so forth to take a look at these?
Yes.
Because that way it's complete, because you can't do this job without these people.
Yes.
And I think.
And that's why I just want to make it clear.
I understood the context of Dr. Tepedino's remarks to include our executive staff that's seated out there and the president.
Yep.
Okay, we've taken a
Is
look.
that agreeable with the board?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Of course. All right, then we don't need a second to a motion, just a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you. We're adjourned.
Sorry to talk so much.